Hi everybody, we're back and it is my favorite time of the day. I'm so excited because we're getting to do something new today. We are going to do some division with decimals. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. We've already done this, but I just love it. Okay, so we're first going to do part 1, and that is easy. I think I'm going to set this one up for you, and then we'll do part 2 together. All right, so part 1 says Mrs. Potter bought 6 boxes of clay. So there's certain things I definitely, can we go up and get a different color? I like this one. I like this one. I love this thing. I love it. I'm going to use this one, the rainbow color. Okay, so we have 6 boxes of clay for an art project. If each box of clay weighs, each box weighs 17 4/10 ounces. How many ounces of clay did the teacher buy? So she bought 6 boxes. So I'm going to jump ahead because I just do that. I'm going to say I have 6 boxes. I'm going to go like this because you know me, I'm a big fat cheater. I don't like to draw out all of this stuff, man. Okay, so I have 6 boxes. And I just work ahead. So I have 6 boxes. Each one of them weighs 17 4/10 ounces. How many ounces of clay did the teacher buy? Explain your answers using pictures, which we are, numbers, which we will, and words. Okay, so each one of them weighs 17 4/10 ounces. All right. 17 4/10. Now, and each one of those is an ounce. So each one equals 17 4/10 of an ounce. Okay, so I'm going to say that is what each one of them equals. Okay, so Mr. Schmidt, how in the world would I find out how much 17 4/10 times 6 would be? I have 6 boxes.
I have a question real quick, Mrs. Schmidt.
Okay.
Underneath this purple dash,
yeah.
Is there a mark under there?
Yeah, it's supposed to be equal.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, it looked like it's subtracting it out of there or something, huh? Yeah. I'm just trying to show that it's ounces. Each one of them is 17 4/10
I just wanted
ounces.
to make sure I understood what that was.
Yeah, because I don't have space in there to write ounces on each one of them.
I would say one way you could do this is just to add up each amount. Right? Add them all together. There's only 6 of them.
So I could do 17 4/10 6 times.
Right.
And I can already see at least 3 people shaking their heads at me.
Oh, they don't need to because we know the other way you can do this. One of the other ways you can do this.
Okay, so that is one way. I could just add them all up.
Yeah.
That's true. What is another way I could do it?
We could multiply.
Okay, so we could take each one of them. We have 17 4/10, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could multiply that by 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know my answer is going to be ounces at the end. So my answer, my number, and then ounces, right?
Right.
Okay, so then, you know what? Shoot shucks, they got me over a barrel, Mr. Schmidt.
Why is that?
Because I can't do part 2 without doing part A. They got me.
Right.
Little stinkers. You got me. Okay, so shoot and shucks. Okay, 6 times 4, 24.
And you guys pause it. Pause it.
Yes, try and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. I know you can get this.
Yeah. So if you've already worked it out, you can check your answer when you unpause.
Absolutely. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 2 more, 42, 43, 44. So I'm going to put the 4 down there, and I'm going to put the other 4 up here. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 more is going to be 10. All right. Am I done, Mr. Schmidt?
Well, you need to place your decimal point.
I do, and we all know how we do that. Mrs. Schmidt, she always comes over here and puts a box around the number of digits that are behind the decimal. And in this case, it's only 1. So we go over here and we go 1, and it's right there. So we have 104 and 4/10 ounces. That's how much clay Mrs. Potter bought. So we have 104 and 4/10 ounces. So now, Mr. Schmidt, could you scroll down so we can see what we're going to do in part 2? All right. If the clay is shared equally among 18 students in the class, how many ounces of clay will each student get? Explain your answer using pictures, numbers, and or words.
So I left the previous answer showing.
Yeah.
So that we could use it in part 2, because you said we're going to need that to do part 2.
Yeah. So over here, I'm going to put my clay, my big old box of clay. I'm just going to put one big box, and I'm going to say it's 104 ounces, or 104 and 4/10 ounces. Okay? That is my clay.
And could we just make that decimal point a little larger?
Absolutely.
Because on the video, I'm afraid it,
Yeah, we want to make
we
it
need to
big
make sure
and
they
chubby
can see
so
it.
everybody can see it.
Yeah.
So that is my clay. But now I have to divide it up amongst some kiddos. How many kiddos? It's 18. So if the clay is shared equally among 18 students in the class, how many ounces of clay will each student get? So I need to divide this among 18 kids. So how am I going to do that? I don't want to do that.
And it doesn't say we have to use all that, right? It says and or, so we could use any of those strategies. Pictures,
Yeah.
numbers, and or words.
Yeah. So we can, so we have, I'm just going to put 18 students right here because that looks good for me. So the way that we would set this up is, what am I dividing? Am I dividing the students or am I dividing the clay?
Please don't chop up the students.
No. Oh, no.
We don't divide them up.
Yeah, we can't do that.
At least not by clay.
No.
Yeah. We could divide them up into groups.
Yeah, we can.
But we don't need to do that
But
in this problem.
case here, we're going to divide the clay.
Right.
So what was being divided is underneath the division. And then we're going to divide it by 18 students. So how much will each kiddo get? In this case here, whenever we do this, we're doing division with decimals. The first thing I want to do is always, I want to take my decimal right here, make it nice and chubby. I want to go straight up, and I want to put it in the same spot above our division sign here. Okay? Now, the way that I like to do this, I don't know about everybody else, but the way that I like to do this here is I like to do a little estimating counting here. I'm not gonna count by my 18s, but I'm gonna find a friendly number close to 18.
Mm-hmm.
So a friendly number close to 18, I'm gonna say is 20. So I'm gonna say 20, add 20 more, which is gonna be 40, and then 60, 80, and then 100, which is close to 104. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to say, if I say 18 times 5, will I get close to 104? So I'm going to come over here. It just gives me a starting spot. Times 5. Otherwise, I'd be 18 times 3, 18 times 12, 18 times 7. This is an easy way. It's counting by finding a number that's easy to skip count, that's close to your number. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, which is 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. And I'm going to carry my 4, and that's 5, plus 4 more is 9. 90. Is 90 close to 104, Mr. Schmidt?
It's very close.
Pretty close. So I'm going to put a 5 up there. 5 times 18. And I had to do the actual work to find out how much the actual number was. And it was 90. I'm going to subtract, bring down my 4, and then 10 minus 9 is
And
1.
I just want to add that 6 18s would be even closer, but it would go above what you need, right? So,
Yeah. It would be closer, but it would go beyond because we want to stay lower.
Just like on The Price is Right, you can't go over.
As close without going over.
Right.
All right. So we did this here. Well, okay. So thank goodness this is smaller than 18 because that's what I tell my students to always do. Check. If what I have down here is smaller than what I'm dividing by, then I'm in good shape. But if it was the same size or larger, that meant I made a mistake and I need to double check my work.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You just have to check it as you go and make sure.
Okay. So in this case here, I still have this 4, so I'm going to bring it down. So I'm going to put a 4 down there. And what I like to do, just to remind myself what I'm doing, is I bring my 18 down too. So now what I'm looking at is 18 into 144. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I just want to point out on this one, I'm guessing it could be 8 if it ends evenly, because I know 8 times 8 is 64, so that would end with the 4. So in my brain, I automatically went to 8. And then I say, well, 8 times 10 would be 80. And then if I add 64 to 80, I know that would be 144. So guess what? I already know the answer.
Oh, Mr. Schmidt.
But let's check it.
I'm getting ahead of you.
Show them how to do it.
Okay, so 100, I'm going to add 20. So I'm going to say 120. And then 20 is 140. And then 20 is 160. Okay. Ooh, I went beyond it, right? Uh-huh. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But 140 is a little bit small, and this is a little bit smaller than 20. So I could go here, but I'm feeling adventurous, and I think I'm going to go and try this one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to try 8 times. 18 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. I'm going to carry my 6. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 6 more is 14. And Smarty Pants, Mr. Schmidt, was correct. So 18 goes into 144. How many times, everybody? 8. 8 times 18 is 144. All right, and we are at 0. And I hope that you have taken the time to work on this page by yourself. Double check yourself, and I want you to actually do the work. Get it there. Let's work on this. All right. So, Mr. Schmidt, could you go back up because I think we did something wrong. Oh my goodness, what did we do wrong, Mr. Schmidt?
You forgot to write the units?
5 8/10 ounces.
And we could say,
each.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Each student would receive 5.8 or
definitely.
5 8/10 ounces.
Because I always say 5 8/10 of what?
Yeah, I always say that too.
Definitely.
Remember your units because when you guys get to
definitely.
junior high science, you'll need to have the units on everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so this one here, you guys are not catching me on this one. I am going to show you the first 2. And I think I'm doing too much. So I have 1 and
Mrs.
6
Schmidt?
tenths. Yes.
We talked about this ahead of time, and we talked about the first 2, but look at number 3.
Oh!
I think it might be fair to help them know what to do.
So do you think we should just go down to number 3?
Oh, no, I mean, maybe number 2 and number 3. Because the other 2 look pretty easy.
Yeah, that's super cheesy easy. So, 32, what is that? 32 tenths hundredths. 32 hundredths. Remember, the place value is going to say its name. 32 hundredths. 32 hundredths divided by 8. Now, this is a confusing thing right here, folks. Because sometimes people want to go, oh, okay, so does that mean 3 into 8? No. What is being divided? 32 hundredths. So we're going to come over here and we're going to put 32 hundredths and we're going to divide that by 8. Remember, what is being divided goes inside of this little upside down box.
Yeah, to me that box is a knife.
Yeah.
About to slice the cake and the cake's inside there.
Yeah. Okay, so 8 is going to 32 is going to be divided by 8. Okay, so first thing with division, always put your decimal point straight up.
Guys, did you notice she said 32 is going to be divided by 8?
32
what, guys?
Hundredths.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start.
We got to keep her on her toes, guys.
Now, when we have a decimal point here, we cannot just say, oh, Miss Schmidt, I know 8 goes into 32 4 times. Nope, 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 because you will be so wrong. Let me show you why, because some of you guys are thinking this. No. 8 goes into 3 how many times? No way, no how, never. Doesn't happen. Goes in 0 times. 0 times 8 is 0. Subtract, and I'm going to bring down my 3. Okay, well, okay, it's smaller, so I'm in good shape. Now I need to bring down that 2. How many times does 8 go into 32? 8 goes into 32 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract, and I'm at 0. Now what I want to point out to you, this says 4 tenths. This is 4 hundredths. Different number. So you need to work through this here, because if you just jump to 8 into 32, you're going to say 4. But you're going to have a space between the decimal point and the 4, and that 4 is going to swing straight over, and you're going to have a different number. Difference between 4 cents and 40 cents. Big difference. So please make for sure that you do all of the steps. So now let's take a look at this one here, because Mr. Schmidt thought this one here was a toughie.
And, I don't think it's a toughie, but I just noticed that you need to be careful of where the decimal point is.
Absolutely, same thing. All right, so let's take a peek at it. I'm not going to, so what we're going to say is we have, let's see, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So it's 84 thousandths divided by 7. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write 84 thousandths, and I'm going to divide that by 7. And I'm going to, first thing, I'm going to take my decimal and I'm going to take it straight up. All right. Now, I'm going to go through each of my steps. Does 7 go into 0? Nope. So
It goes into 0 times. Yeah.
0 times 7 is still 0. Subtract. And it's still 0. Now I'm going to bring down that 8. Does 7 go into 8? Oh, yes, it does. It will go in 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract. And I have 1 left over. And then I'm going to bring down this 4. Now, to me, I'm getting a little bit far away, so to keep in mind of what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and bring down my 7. Just bringing this 7 and bringing it down to remind myself what I'm doing, because sometimes I can get off track here. 7 goes into 14 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract, and it's 0, and I'm done. So, Mr. Schmidt, what is my answer?
84 thousandths divided by 7 equals 12 thousandths.
Very good. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Remember, the last place value will say its name, so it's 12 thousandths. Okay? I think you guys can do the rest of this by yourself. Oh, Mr. Schmidt, would you like to explain this part to us?
Well, this part, they've already done it all for us. Did you want to read it to them?
You can just kind of look at it.
We can read it.
Yeah.
I'll just read it.
Okay.
It says, find 15 and 3 tenths divided by 3. Estimate 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Okay. Place the decimal point directly above the decimal point in the dividend, which is what Mrs. Schmidt was doing in the other problems. We have our decimal points lined up. Okay, and there's no decimal here in the divisor, so we're good. We don't need to move it or anything. Divide as with whole numbers. So that means follow the steps that we did up here, the same division steps. So it says divide as with whole numbers. So 15 and 3 tenths divided by 3 equals 5 and 1 tenth. And I know it's a little confusing when that period's right there, but we know this is 5 and 1 tenth. It says check. Use multiplication to check your answer. 5 and 1 tenth, which is their quotient up here, times the divisor 3 equals the dividend 15 and 3 tenths.
Awesome. And then we multiplied, and that's what we have,
Yeah.
right?
So we match. We're good.
Okay. So I'm going to look at the first practice problem here for you. And then you guys can do the other two on your own. So we have 223 and 6/10 divided by 40. So I'm going to set that up right here. So I'm going to say 40 into 223 and 6/10. Okay? Now, I like to do the same because 40 isn't going into 22, so 40 is going to have to go into 223, and I do need to put my decimal up there, nice and chubby, so I can see it. Okay? So I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing. I'm going to count. So I'm going to say 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, and then 240. Okay, let me count that, make sure I'm doing it right. 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then just to make it 280. I don't need to go that far. So 223. How close can I get to 223 without going over? I'm going to say right there 2 times, right? 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 3 times.
Mrs. Schmidt?
Yes.
Couldn't we also go to the 200?
Oh, Mr. Schmidt, you're so funny.
I mean, 200.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so glad you're here because I was looking at 120, wasn't I? Oh, shoot.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to 200. So I have 200, and then my next one is 240, which really would be too big. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And since I'm counting by 40s and it's dividing by 40s, I don't need to do any other work. It is 5 times because 5 times 40 is 200. And I'm going to have 23 as my remainder. But we don't do remainders with decimals, so I need to bring down this 6. And to remind myself what I'm doing, I'm going to say 40 into 236. Well, if I'm still here, this is 200, this is 240. So that means that I'm still right here 5 times. So I'm going to put a 5 up here. 5 times 40 is 200. Subtract, and I have 36. Oh no, Mr. Schmidt. I can't have a remainder with decimals. Can I add a 0?
Well, yeah. If you do add it to the...
I can add it right here,
Yeah.
right? And now I can bring that 0 down. Because with division, I can add as many zeros as I want this way. I can add zeros until I can get it to go evenly. So now I'm going to look at how many times will 40 go into 360. Well, I know that 4, because if I cover this up, I cover that up, 4 goes into 36. So 4 goes into 36 9 times, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. So I'm going to say 40 will go into 360 9 times. 9 times 40 is 360. Subtract, and I am done. So my answer for this one here is going to be 5. I'm going to write it right here for you guys. 5 and 59 hundredths. And I'm going to circle because I always circle my answers because I always have a mess. So my answer is 5 and 59 hundredths. So you may need in these problems to add some zeros and bring them down in order to work it out evenly. Okay?
Mrs. Schmidt, before we go,
Yes.
could we do something for some of my students?
Of course.
I would like to just rewrite number 2 and number 3.
Oh, to make it
so that they
can see how to do
just
it?
to make sure they have it set
Sure.
up correctly.
Okay, so we're going to say,
And I'm not saying that everyone needs that help, but if anyone does, I'd like to help
hey,
them.
you know what? I have kiddos that
Yeah.
would really appreciate it, and they're too shy to say that they need that help. So I
We just want to make sure you have to set it up right. right?
So, and then we're going to take that decimal straight up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, folks, you're going to remember 20 doesn't go into 8, but 20 will go into 81. Okay. So, really, kind of when you do this here, what you have done is you have erased that decimal right there because you took it straight up. So, you're looking at 20 into 81. Okay. But we're going to put it back because I want you to see how that got there. Okay? And so this one over here, number 3, we're going to say 361 and 5/10. And we are going to divide that by 12. And again, I'm going to take my decimal and it's going to go straight up right there. And I'm going to like to make them nice and chubby up there so that way there's no mistakes when I'm adding my numbers in there. Mm-hmm. Okay? All right. All right, so now we are on the last page of our math. We have our 4 square. And Mr. Schmidt says he wants to do this part because he has some really cool ways of drawing a picture for this. So I'm going to let him handle that because yesterday we did it with money. So we're going to let him do this.
Well, we were thinking if you have to draw a picture with this, we could make each of these place value columns be represented by certain base 10 blocks. So I would start with my smallest block, and my smallest place value are the tenths. So I just use a little cube, a little tiny cube for my units of tenths. And next to that we have the ones column. So what would I use to make my ones? Something that's 10 times greater. So that would be a rod of base 10 blocks, right? That would be what my ones are represented by. Now I have the tens column, and I would have to use something 10 times greater than the ones, and that would be in base 10 blocks. That's called a flat, and it has 100 little boxes in there. So I can draw a picture to represent 18 and 3/10. So let's do that. What do my tens look like? They look like a flat. And how many tens are in 18? Just 1. So how many rods would I need here? Mrs. Schmidt, how many rods would I need
I'm looking at
for
that
the ones?
I'm thinking you're going to need 8 of them.
There's 8 ones, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay, and then I have to show the tenths, and for that we're just using those little unit cubes of base 10 blocks.
And I think we're going to need 3 of those.
We need
Mr.
3 of them,
Schmidt.
yeah. So I need 3 little cubes.
And I really like the way that you did that, Mr. Schmidt, because I can see that what you have here is our tenths to our ones is those little blocks. Mm-hmm. It takes 10 of them to make a rod.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't draw it quite to scale, right? But
yeah, but
I know
cool.
that's what I'm representing here.
Yeah,
this would be a base 10 rod.
And it would take 10 of those rods to make a flat.
A flat, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I like that.
So
I definitely like that.
Normally when we're doing this, these would be ones, these would be tens, and these would be hundreds. But you can reassign the value for each one as long as you know what that value is. Mm-hmm. So here I know that these are tenths, and these are ones, and these represent tens. Mm-hmm. So I can just have a little key up there so I can remember that. Remember what my scale is. Okay, so then we have another number next to it. So if I'm looking at this number, let's start on the smaller side this time. We started on the large side, let's start on the small side. So how many tenths do we need?
We need 7 of them, Mr. Schmidt.
So if I were using my base 10 blocks, I would need 7 little cubes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Awesome, I like it.
And then I need to say, okay, how many ones do we need? We need just 1.
Just 1 rod.
So now how many flats would we need? How many tens are there in 31?
There are 3.
We have 3 tens. So I need the larger squares. I don't want to draw them the same size as my small ones. So I need 3 of these.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Now we could count the blocks, right? We could count them all to add them up. But I think this problem isn't that hard. Do you want to solve it right now, or do you want to?
Well, my only
Because here they have to solve.
Yeah.
You want to show what to do with the blocks?
Well, I'm kind of concerned there because if I'm looking at it right, Mr. Schmidt,
There's
they
some regrouping.
have, yeah. So I have like 10 of the 1/10.
We have 7 down here and 3 up here.
Yeah.
And so that would equal 10. So we would exchange these for 1 rod. Yeah. And so now what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have 2 rods down here.
Oh, no.
So that's 10 again.
Oh,
so guess what?
Got to cross all of those
We're going to
off.
exchange those and regroup and make another flat over here. I hope I'm still on the screen. I think I am. Okay, so then we count all of our flats, and we have, count them by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40,
and 50.
So if this is correct, we would have 50.
Just 50
50
holes.
whatever this is, yeah.
Yeah.
And so now you guys can solve it another way here, and it says solve and show your work. Well, what should we do for that?
Well, I kind of think that we already did.
Yeah,
so,
I think so too. So I would say,
yeah,
look at that.
Yeah, that's the way
we
that
solved
I do
it over there.
Yep, that's the Schmidt way. We say we already did that.
And then we could go down, and now it's up to you guys. What's another strategy you could use? Couldn't you use the normal algorithm? The standard algorithm?
That would be my way, guys.
And make sure we line up our decimals. And then we have
definitely.
7/10. We have 1 1 and 3/10. And you guys add that up at home and see if we match this. I'm going to look at it in my head.
Mr. Schmidt, could you put a ghost decimal after the 50
Oh, sure.
so that way we can remember?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that way that we can
And
see.
I put one here too.
It should be, Okay. Yeah, so it should be like that.
Yeah.
And
The
then
whole
write a
ghost
short-
decimal concept is new to me, so
Yeah, well,
I never call it that.
We call it the ghost decimal because every whole number, there is a decimal behind it. We just don't see it, so we call it a ghost decimal.
Right.
All right.
So what do you think about their story? You have any ideas of how they could write a story using these numbers?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking that
something involving tenths.
Mr. Schmidt spent $18.30 on new books for his classroom. And Mrs. Schmidt said, "Oh no, I can't let you do that. I have to spend $31.70.
So now what she's doing here is what? She's filling this in, right? With her story, she's adding zeros here.
Yeah, because money we have to
because
show our
7/10
hundreds.
would be 7 dimes, and 7 dimes equals 70 cents.
Yeah, so we would do something like that. But you could do something else.
You could use pounds. You could say one object weighs 18 and 3/10 pounds, and then you could say the other object weighs 31 and 7/10 pounds. It's up to you guys.
We could say that my cat, Cletus, weighs 18 pounds and 3 ounces.
Well, that wouldn't be the same, though. Because pounds and ounces, they're not tenths. Ounces are not tenths of pounds.
18 and 3/10 ounces.
Well,
18 and
3/10 pounds.
Thank you. 18 and 3/10 pounds. But that big old whopper Cash.
Oh!
Yes!
Oh, how dare you!
He is a beast. He weighs 31 and 7/10 of pounds. So we could draw 2 fat cats.
I would say one shelf of Mrs. Schmidt's shoes weighs 18 and 3/10 pounds, and another shelf of Mrs. Schmidt's boots weighs 31 and 7/10 pounds. How much do they weigh all together?
Oh, good grief.
And I know her collection weighs more than that, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness, Mr.
You guys
Schmidt.
in her class, you know I'm telling the truth.
You're giving it all away. All right, guys. It has been a great day. I'm sorry that we are so late. But we will definitely get it done earlier.
One reason we're late is we noticed not that many people are watching all the videos, right? Every day that we go along. Now, I know some of you are. But yesterday, I think, what was it? Only 13 people watched the one we made yesterday?
We were so disappointed.
Yeah.
Anyway, You guys have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to your parents.
And if you're watching this right now, thank you so much.
And thank you. We really do appreciate it. It is a lot of work, but we love you guys, and we definitely want to do this for you.
Yeah.
So keep watching.
Because they're doing a lot of work too. If they're doing all these sheets, they're doing a lot of work too.
Yes.
Parents at home, thank you for watching with your kids and helping them.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.